Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of July the 24th of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. Citizens who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you may do so by calling 336-422-1200, 336-422-1200. You'll be placed on hold until the public session begins. Members of the audience who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you just need to fill out a little speaker card that are outside on a little table and actually give it to our clerk at the end of the dais. And you can do that even as late as now. You can go get a card and do it right now if you'd like. We will begin our meeting with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm led by Commissioner Linville, and please stand if you are able. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin our first item on the agenda, I would like to just introduce two new staff members. And I'd like to call on Denise Price, one of our deputy county managers, and we have a new behavioral health services director that I can assure you that Denise is very happy about because she's been doing that job as extra work. And also we're very pleased to now have a new cooperative extension agent, and we've been without for about 8 or 9 months or more, almost a year.
A long time.
I know these are important to you to introduce.
Absolutely. I'm delighted to do so. Before I do want to take just a moment to give a special thanks to all the staff in both of those departments who have worked extra hard and gone the extra mile during this time of not having directors. So Leslie and Michael, could you come up, please? We have faces to go with these names. As they're walking up, I'll start with introducing Leslie Rose. Leslie is not new to Forsyth County. She's actually been here for 9 years, and she is an expert when it comes to the work that Cooperative Extension does in horticulture and has an incredible passion. So really excited to have her to take this to the next level. The team is great out there. She's got a wonderful team that she's supervising. She comes to us with both undergraduate and graduate degrees in horticulture and related experiences, environmental sciences. I saw that, and my ears perked a little bit. So would like for Leslie to be able to say hi to you, and you get to memorize this face.
Thank you, Denise. Hi, everyone. I've met a lot of you before, but I'm excited to move into this new role. I appreciate the trust that's been put into me and all the support that you give for our work, and I look forward to working with you more.
Thank you.
And Michael Duncan is the Behavioral Health Services Director. He is a veteran of the Navy, so we are just thrilled to have that level of expertise with us. It's an area where we focus in that department frequently. He is a RAM squared. He has both undergraduate and graduate degrees from Winston-Salem State University. So if you have questions about his alliance, he'll make it real clear real fast. And just thrilled to have him again. So Michael, if you'd like to say a word.
And I'm super tall, so I had to move the microphone a little bit. I saw some Ramley in the house, apparently, Commissioner McDaniel. So I saw the ears perk up there real quick. Glad to be here. I've lived in Winston-Salem area for about 15 years and call Winston-Salem home, even though I'm from Alexander County originally. I am North Carolina, born and raised. Adopted my kids here through DSS and served as a guardian ad litem. So I've served in several different capacities here in the county as volunteer, as well as a full-time single father, and raised my kids here. So definitely rooted here deeply and look forward to continuing the great legacy that is going on and just seeing where we can propel these services and continue to build upon the great legacy that we're already building and just continuing all the work that we do. So thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to you both.
Taylorsville?
Midnight,
Midnight.
right beside the gym mines.
I was going to say, midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. righty, the first item on the agenda is a public hearing on the site plan amendment of Billy Rose Robertson Generation Skipping Trust and Hugh Robertson and William Robertson zoning docket F1660. And we are, Eric is actually Kirk Erickson, I'm going to call him Eric Erickson. Kirk Erickson, our planning and zoning deputy director, is going to give a brief overview of the request.
All right, thank you, Chairman Martin, and good afternoon again, Commissioners. This request is for a rezoning of 24.6 acres on the east side of South Main Street and the north side of Jones Road. And this would be actually a site plan amendment for a 94-lot, single-family planned residential development in RM8S zoning. Oops, excuse me. This is the Legacy Growth Management Plan map showing the site in context. It is in southern Forsyth County in the Growth Management Area 3 suburban neighborhoods area. This is a location map showing the zoning of the property and the surrounding context. As you can see, the site is zoned RM8S, which would allow for multifamily or single-family. There is a surrounding mix of residential, business, and industrial zoning, so it's a varied context. This is an aerial image showing the conditions of the lot currently. It is largely wooded, as you can see. The adopted area plan for this property is a South Suburban Plan update from 2018, and the plan calls for single-family development at 0 to 8 units per acre, which is actually what is being proposed here. Just going to go through briefly some photos of the subject property. This is looking at the subject property from South Main Street, looking north at the subject property from Jones Road. This is looking north along South Main Street. The site is on your right. And this is looking south along Main Street. The property is on the left. And one more, this is looking west along Jones Road, and the subject property is to the right. Actually, there's might have a couple more in this version. This is looking east along Jones Road and looking south from the subject property across Jones Road. This is the site plan for the property. As mentioned, it is a single-family subdivision. There is a stormwater pond in the northeast of the site, and this property was actually approved by the commissioners with almost exactly the same layout back in September of last year. However, as you can see from the red circle, they're doing away with a connection to South Main Street that was approved by the commissioners last fall. The only entrance to this subdivision will be from Jones Road here, and this is actually at the request of the North Carolina Department of Transportation. After they received rezoning from the commissioners in the fall and doing further site work, DOT ultimately decided that the South Main Street connection would be too close to the intersection of Fishel, Jones, and South Main Street. So that's why they would like to see that go away. Just in summary, this request is consistent with the general recommendations of the comprehensive plan and the area plan. The request would bring compatible infill housing to the area. The request would extend sewer along South Main Street, which could help provide more growth in the area. And the request has been previously approved by the commissioners, but as mentioned, the DOT will not permit a street connection as was previously approved. The Planning Board did have a hearing on this at their June meeting. There were no speakers in opposition, and following the public hearing, the board did vote unanimously to recommend this to the commissioners. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Kirk? Thank you. This is a public hearing, and speakers will have up to 15 minutes total to speak in favor of this request and up to 15 minutes total to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the request? All righty, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion?
Chairman, yes, I move that zoning map amendment F1660, including the plan amendment and special use district permit, be approved on the following basis. The proposed site plan amendment, as petitioned by Billy Rose Robertson, Generation Skipping Family Trust, Hugh Robertson, and William Roberson Incorporated for a 24.6-acre piece of property in a district-zoned RM8S residential single-family and planned residential development special use is consistent with the recommendations of the Legacy Comprehensive Plan, and it is reasonable and in the interest of the public because, one, the proposed site plan amendment would change the site plan by eliminating the direct connection of the subject property to the South Main Street based upon safety concerns raised by the North Carolina Department of Transportation. And two, the proposed site plan is compatible with the current RM8S zoning of the site and the recommendations of the Legacy Comprehensive Plan and the South Suburban Area Plan update, providing I get a second.
We have a second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing on the zoning petition of Impulse Energy LLC and Impulse Energy Number 2 LLC from RS30 to IPS and the CITA requirements issues that request on a waiver. This is zoning docket F1661. And again, Kirk Erickson from our Deputy Director of Planning and Zoning is actually going to give us an overview. Thank you.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Just to provide a little overview of the context, this is the Legacy Growth Management Map showing the site in southwestern Forsyth County. It is just to the northwest of the village of Clemens, right off of Louisville-Clemens Road in the suburban growth management area. This is the location and zoning map showing that, again, this is a site that has a varied context. Along the east side of Louisville-Clemens Road and part of the west side, there's a variety of limited business and highway business zoning. Along the west and south of the property is RS30, which is large lot single-family zoning, and there is some RS9 small lot suburban single-family zoning across the street. This is an aerial image showing the context for the site. Currently, the southern portion of the property fronting Louisville-Clemens Road is cleared and suitable for development. The northern and western part of the site is wooded, and the western boundary of the property is Blanket Bottom Creek. The site gently slopes towards the creek. The commissioners do not have an adopted area plan that covers this area, so you don't have any official parcel-specific recommendations. I do want to make the commissioners aware that the Village of Clemens comprehensive plan does include this parcel, and the village recommends that the front of this property be mixed-use development in nature, and the western section be single-family. Just to do a few site photos, this is looking north along Louisville-Clemens Road. Subject property is to the left. This is looking south along Louisville-Clemens Road. The subject property is to the right, and you can see some of the commercial businesses across the street, including Ronnie's Wings and the auto rental facility. This is looking directly into the subject property from Louisville-Clemens Road, again showing the preliminary grading that's taken place on a large portion of the frontage. And one more looking east across Louisville-Clemens Road to the commercial businesses I referenced earlier. This is a site plan for the proposed development. As mentioned previously, this is a two-phase rezoning, and what that means is the developers have a site plan for part of the site, but they haven't figured out exactly who the tenants are going to be on the eastern portion of the site. So there's two commercial lots shown with the white background, and those are basically going to have some zoning conditions that deal with things like building materials, access points, traffic control, all of those things, but their actual site plans would be worked out when the actual users are identified. The bulk of the site, however, is taken up by the Legacy Charter School. There is an entrance that is exclusive to the school that goes right here along the southern frontage of the property. And folks would enter here And the school has about 5,000 feet of queuing and stacking that wrap around the site and make its way to the entrance for drop-off and pickup. So again, they should not be having their vehicles stacking up and causing problems with traffic on Louisville Clemens. This site is served with sewer by a private sewer system in Force Main that takes sewage and forces it back up to Louisville Clemens Road, where it ties into the public city-county utility system. And there's a stormwater device that's in the low-lying portion of the property. And I'd also want to point out that Holder Road, which is an existing public street, which is across Louisville Clemens Road, would be extended with a new public street into the site, providing access points to both of the two commercial lots and teeing into a new public street that would go north of the property that would eventually connect to Emmanuel Drive and Stiers Ferry Road. So providing more connectivity. I guess I'll go ahead and talk on this slide about some intersection improvements as well. When we talked previously, we were going to talk about a specific intersection, R-cut intersection that was recommended by the traffic improvement study. However, in having some conversation offline with the Village of Clemens, we've decided to leave out the specifics of the interchange design at this point and let that continue to be worked on with the DOT, with the village, and with the petitioners, since again, that's something that can kind of continue, and DOT ultimately has to say grace over that, but that could let the site be graded and other permits be issued while that's in the works. And there would also be a U-turn right here on the site plan that would have another traffic signal. So you're basically getting two new traffic signals in this stretch, and that would basically help facilitate logical traffic movement through the area. These are some elevations showing how the building would be compatible with the single-family residential zoning in the area. Again, use of brick and one-story design, pitched roofs, and things of that nature. As the chairman mentioned when he was introducing the case, this would also require special intense development approval by the council. This would be the first CEDA request in this Yadkin River Basin. There's actually 700 acres of available CEDA for this basin, and this would only use 3% of it. So there would be plenty left for future economic development projects for the commissioners to use. There are 5 findings related to the CEDA. The first is that the proposed project is in conformance with the adopted comprehensive plan. Staff believes it is. Again, this would be high-quality development, and it's also located along a growth corridor and in an activity center. The second is that the proposed development is compatible with the general character of the area. As mentioned previously, the building materials conditions, the design conditions, and others, including traffic mitigation features of the design, would all help this become compatible. The third point is that the proposed project provides significant economic or community facilities benefits, and the commercial portion of the site is expected to be valued at about $4.5 million to be added to the county tax base and would have an estimated 35 new jobs. They expect to open those businesses in 2 to 3 years. And for the school portion, they're hoping to open a year from August, and they plan on having 110 new jobs. And this would also obviously be an asset to the community. The project does also not pose a threat to the environment. Again, it includes stormwater ponds and other necessary devices, and they've figured out how to utilize a mix of public and private water and sewer infrastructure to serve the site. And lastly, the proposed project does have good transportation access, including proximity to major roads. Again, we're very close to the intersection of US 421 and Louisville Clemens Road. In summary, Legacy does recommend high-intensity development along growth corridors and within activity centers. The proposed site has excellent transportation access to US 421 and would provide a future public street connection to Stiers Ferry. And the project will add an estimated $4.5 million to the local tax base and create an estimated 145 jobs in the community to meet the CEDA requirements. At this point, I also want to mention, Councilmember Bessie, I did reach out to the schools per your direction at our last briefing and talked to Daryl Walker, their superintendent for facilities. And while Daryl says that this may cause some challenges with traffic and just traffic dispersal at the two WSFCS properties in the area, he does believe that can be ameliorated through bell timing and things of that nature. So again, I think they have a few concerns about it, but nothing that would make them recommend against the commissioners approving this should they choose to. This was heard by the planning board at its June 12th public hearing. There was one speaker in opposition. He had concerns about stormwater in the area historically and school traffic, again with Southwest School and West Forsyth being in the area already. However, following the hearing, the board did vote unanimously to recommend this project to the commissioners. I'm glad to answer any questions at this point.
Any questions for Kurt? I appreciate your work on that subdivision issues. I mean, not on the sub, but on the intersection. Intersection issue was, we asked a lot of questions about that Monday, and certainly had some concerns about the R-cut design with people cutting across 2 lanes of traffic on a pretty busy road.
Absolutely, Dr. Martin. Again, I think this is something that it's a different type of infrastructure, and I think hopefully the village and the petitioner are all on board with the current solution.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, and speakers will have up to 15 minutes total to speak in favor of this request, up to 15 minutes total to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Come on. Are there others? Because I'll look at our time. I'll be monitoring time. If there are others, otherwise you have 15 minutes. But is there anyone else? Okay, good. We're
Yes,
good.
sir. Well, Chairman Martin, members of the commission, thank you so much for having us here today to evaluate these 2 requests that we've made. For the record, my name is Jason Opp, and I'm a Vice President of Real Estate Development. I'm working on behalf of Legacy Traditional Schools, North Carolina. My address is 3125 South Chandler Road, South Gilbert Road, Chandler, Arizona, 85286. I sincerely appreciate all the time that the staff has dedicated to this, and also that you have as well. Mr. Erickson did a great job of summarizing our request, so I thought I would do a brief introduction of who Legacy Traditional Schools is, and then I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So with that in mind, Legacy Traditional Schools is certainly a new name here in North Carolina, but we've been in operation since 2007. Our founder opened their first campus at that time in 2007, and since then we've grown to 20-plus campuses. All of those are in the western United States today, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas, but we've recently begun expanding. This Forsyth County campus would be our first in North Carolina. Well, we were approved by the state regulator in January to have up to 1,200 students here. So we're very excited to be a new neighbor within the community. In addition to our operations that are being proposed here, we're also expanding into South Carolina as well. So we're establishing quite a beachhead on the East Coast. We have about 27,000 students, most of whom are gladly on summer recess today, but they'll all be back in their seats in short order here as we get into the fall. We focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic in a very teacher-focused way, very much like the manner in which most of us went through elementary and middle schools in the past. We have a track record of success that's been recognized by the Department of Education, and we're very proud to be members of the community here. Mr. Erickson talked a little bit about traffic. I think that's always a topic that's near and dear to our heart as a charter school operator. Not only do we feel like it's important to be a good neighbor, but our customers, who are our parents, are also very focused on that. So we consider ourselves to be experts by necessity in traffic flow on and off the site. As Mr. Erickson outlined, the campus sits quite a bit of distance off Louisville Clemens Road. We have about a mile of stacking for automobiles on the campus, which ensures that we don't have cars that are stacking up into the public right-of-way. We typically have 3 dismissal times, so we take and stagger our students so that all those parents aren't congregating at once. And we have 2 pickup and drop-off areas that are heavily staffed during those arrival and departure periods to make sure that we keep all of our students safe. We find that that's very important. And Mr. Erickson mentioned that when he spoke to Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, they emphasize the need to coordinate bell times. We'll absolutely do that. I think being part of a good neighbor and being part of the school fabric here, we want to incorporate our educational opportunity as a choice, and we'll work closely with the local school district on that. So I have a team of experts here. If you ask me a hard question, I might defer to one of them. But before I stop and ask for questions, I do want to say that we've really appreciated all the hard work that the staff has put into this. They've been very rigorous in enforcing the Unified Development Ordinance and ensuring that our proposed development meets all the requirements that are established within Forsyth County. They've answered a million dumb questions from me and from my design partners along the way, and we very sincerely appreciate their willingness to go the extra mile to help us explain how to meet all the requirements and to do it in a way that's appropriate for the county. So with that, sir, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you or other members of the commission have.
Any questions? Good.
Well, thank you for your time.
Good. Oh, excuse me, I think we have one, sorry.
Well, I was going to wait until our discussion period, once we were getting ready to take the vote, but since you've been called back, I will
Yes,
ask, is this a private or charter? I think I may have missed that part when you were saying.
Apologies, I wasn't clear about that. Chairman Martin, Commissioner Woodbury, this is a charter school.
Okay.
So it's runs in parallel to the Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. It is free, it is taxpayer funded, and it's a school that parents could choose to enroll their children in. It is not limited to a district in the way that the elementary and local schools are. So we'll potentially draw from parents and children in Western Forsyth and Eastern Daviess County.
One more question, and
ma'am.
then if we have any questions during discussion or any comments, I'll just cede that time. But do you have the percentage possibly of the students that you all serve that are what we would call exceptional children? Do you know what that percentage is?
No, ma'am, and I apologize, I don't have that percentage. We do have an exceptional student services program.
Okay.
It was a topic of great discussion during our approval with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to ensure that we could offer services to students that met their needs. And I can tell you that our educational management organization based in Chandler, Arizona, has a deep team of experts that are highly focused on ESS, and they will work with a local team here to make sure that we meet the needs of every student.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? All right. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the request? We got about 3. Come on up, and I'll probably got about 3-4 minutes roughly, and I'll use the timer. I'll actually set it for 4, and if you need a little, finish your thought.
Ready?
Wait, tell us your name and address. I'm sorry.
Okay, just down the address. Where did I put that? Oh, it's John Contis, 5420 Stars Ferry Road. And I've been living here for 64 years. Is that enough?
That's a lot. No, it's good. Go ahead.
Go ahead and talk now?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. This site is spot zone into Louisville Clemens Road, right between RS 30 zoning, houses on the left side and houses on the right side. The buildings, the business buildings in front of this site were built way back 30 years ago, where the Ronnie's Pizza and all this other stuff, before any of this zoning ever took place. They've been there for 30 or 40 years. The big shopping center on the the north side is a couple of streets away from this zoning. The four-lane highway that runs from Clemens Building, high density in Clemens City, town, there's a 3-mile stretch that begins right after that. That's all single-family zoning, all the way up past this high-density zoning site. Let's see. The owner of this land wants to put all the bad stuff on the valley slope in, pave it, top it to bottom, roof top to bottom, clear cut top to bottom, send all the runoff water top to bottom in big pipes, flood the valley, eroding the bottom, just making a big mess in the existing stormwater runoff system that drains into the Yadkin River. How you build on this valley, well, how you build on this valley slopes make all the difference to keeping it running well. Important, the Army Corps of Engineers need to examine and check this building site. They inspected the lot next to this one, finding many problems in the building site. It was zoned for high-density apartments. They kept putting maps in, and the Army Corps of Engineers kept turning it down. Finally, the Clemens Board voted against it. The Texas school map, safety of walking kids, entrance and exit, very crowded with commercial food service and food service gas pumps. There's supposed to be a Sheetz and a McDonald's there. Walking kids will have to walk around these retail buildings on the sidewalks next to the heavy traffic lanes. Then crossing inside roads into 2 big parking lots at the school before getting to the school buildings. I would not want to try to drive through this with all the heavy traffic coming and going, let alone school kids. Cars in and out, they're everywhere, all in a hurry. The cars unload right at the school buildings. Nice if mom can get there. Their drive is very confusing, sure to get lost. At first, then trying to get back in highway traffic. Good luck. It's school time. Stop and try to help the lost kids. Find family homes all around the school. There will be walking kids coming across all 4 lanes of Louisville Clemens Road. It will impede traffic all the way back to 421 intersection.
You got about a little less than a minute.
Okay, the money of this question, the answer, Texas will not be paying for the new school. Forsyth County taxpayers will. Teachers by the state, not a dime goes to this school from Texas. Sounds like a good idea at this time or any time? I don't think so. This school will cost many millions of dollars. Fill-in costs, total wood clearing top to bottom, all this cost just to get ready to build Forsyth County a school right across the street from a K through 8 school with plenty of open land around it, flat land ready to build on, already owned by the county. Seems strange to me to want to build a school on this property that we don't own. Unless
Can you
Forsyth
wrap- can
County
you-
has too much money and needs to spend it on Texas school.
Can you wrap up? We're reached your time. If you can have a last sentence, we're done.
Okay, on Channel 12 News lately, Forsyth County School System, they are saying we have too many K through 8 classes now. We are going to close some of them next school year. It just doesn't make sense to spend all that money when the school board is broke now. We own a school right across the street from it. It doesn't need repair. We can even build another new school there, and there's plenty of empty lots around it that we can tear one building down and build a new building on the lot while that building's being tore down, and rebuild the whole system because there's enough land there. There's plenty of land around that school.
Thank you. Just tell us your name and address, and got about 4 minutes.
Okay. Savannah Sperlaza, 6855 Rabbit Hollow Court. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I live directly beside the property that is being considered for rezoning. I'm here today not just as a multi-generational neighbor, but as a parent, a special education teacher, and currently an exceptional children's school principal. Let me start by saying I'm not against growth, and I'm not here to say no just for the sake of it. In fact, if the proposal was strictly for an educational institution, one that brings learning, resources, and equitable opportunities to our community, including those with exceptional needs, I'd be open to the idea. I believe in education, and I live it every day. And I understand the importance of shaping strong, healthy minds through education. What gives me pause today is the broader scope of this rezoning request, particularly for the mixed-use retail. I have serious concerns, not because I'm anti-business, but because I've chosen to raise my 3 sons in what has, for generations, been a quiet, safe place to live, close enough to everything, but far enough from the hustle and bustle. We enjoy the woods, the creeks, the freedom to ride dirt bikes and ATVs. We respect the land, and we've built our lives around it. I want my boys to grow up the same way that I did, right there on that same piece of property. The idea of stores, gas stations, or other commercial businesses going in directly next door raises real concerns about traffic, noise, and especially the type of outside clientele that can be drawn in, people who may not share or respect the same values that we do. So I ask, what type of barriers or buffers will be in place to separate my property from whatever is built? Will there be fencing? Will there be a tree line, etc.? How will my family's privacy be protected from the increased foot traffic or public access that would come literally at the corner of my property? What measures will be taken to preserve what we all know? These aren't hypothetical concerns, they're lived ones. My boys are still young, and they spend their days exploring the outdoors just like I did when I was their age. I want to be able to tell them and trust that it's true, that they can continue and enjoy this piece of heaven, our land, safely, freely, and without the intrusion that often comes with rapid commercial development. So today, I'm not asking for a full stop. I'm asking for a thoughtful pause. A pause to make sure that if development does happen, it's done with intention, with respect, and protections in place for our family. Thank you for hearing me out, and I appreciate all of you for your time and how you serve our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give us your name and address, and
Ted Pegram, 1616 Louisville Clemens Road. As you can probably tell, that was my daughter. She's a whole lot smarter than I am. But we do have the same concerns, especially if you travel. I mean, every time zoning is brought up, I know Mr. Linville, different ones that's on this board, has heard the same piece of property from there to 421 time and time again. And they always, whenever somebody brings up traffic, it don't matter if it's the Clemens Board, it doesn't matter if it's the zoning board, doesn't matter if it's county commissioners. If you're talking about traffic, that's a DOT issue. Well, in this case, you're right. But you got to think about it. Everything that was proposed, just like new to me today, the new outlet for the school is literally that far from my driveway, which drops off from the top of that down. It's about a 30-foot drop. I can guarantee you, unless he has had a brain fart, Darrell Walker of the school system has not for this. He's never been for it. But he will also tell you something. This is a DOT issue. No, it's not. It's a DOT issue where we are right now. But to have proposed going out to Stars Ferry Road, awesome, great. Nothing. There's nobody on that's in that can get you over to the property owners that can get you over to Stars Ferry Road. All that land past this is owned by heirs. Heirs, there's about 6 people. Some want to sell it. You know, I love them all. Grew up with them. I've been there 64 years. Same piece of property. My house is where my tree house was. But I'm not opposed to the school. I'm not opposed to something going on that property. Because one, I'm tired of mowing it and looking at it. But this proposal here is exactly what's right up the street. There's everything from massage parlors, vape shops, gas stations. Everybody in Clemens got their own pump now. I mean, we got enough. You know, we got that whole list of stuff. It can be anything under the sun. You know, here at least the back of the property had a vision, had a conceptual drawing, had some idea of how we were going to get people in and out. There's no sidewalk on that road. Yes, students on the east side of Elizabeth Clemens Road will have to cross there. Same problem down at West Forsyth. It's happened. Kids got hit, things like that. It always becomes a DOT problem. Now's the time to stop that being a DOT problem, force DOT to come up with a solution before we just continue dumping more traffic, making it more dangerous. There's no plan for erosion control. There's no plan, there's no conceptual drawings of this, other than, like I say, for the school. I'm not opposed to, I've always been, sure, land, do what you want to with it, but let's be within reason. You know, what is it? What's the impact going to do to us, our neighbors, the creek, the environment? You know, I asked to see a simple erosion control map. You know, the prior developer, Mr. McGuire, he had all that done before he ever presented coming to the zoning board, the planning board, or everything. He did all the grading. He put in all his erosion control ponds, which now, you know, they're in the wrong places. So there's no plan here other than basically the front, let's put whatever you want. As you know, might be a vape shop, might be a car wash. You know, they're bulldozing car washes and banks and everything all through Clemens. There's available retail space from 40 to 421 up Elizabeth Clemens Road. Every shopping center now has got available retail space. Why do you want more? You know, somebody's going hungry with that. School system, why, like I said, Southwest Elementary, Middle School, whatever you want to call it, has bought land all the way around, which we own some land over there too. Has bought land all the way, so they could, because that school needs so much improvement. You know that. And, you know, same problem like we had with Ash. You know, those are costs that, what's the school system going to do with all that land they bought up to build a new school? And that's my thing is,
We're reaching our time
to
limit. See if you can
pause.
finish up in about 30 seconds.
If everybody could just take a pause, and because I know for a fact Mr. Linville's seen the property because, you know, he's met out there many times over many years. But I will add, the land that keeps being brought up, that's across the street, that's zoned heavy business. Those businesses was built in like 1958, prior to zoning. And I know Mr. Linville knows that because we've had that discussion. That's the first strip mall ever built in Clemens where Ronnie's is. That used to be a restaurant. It used to be a tile shop and a beauty shop, all where Ronnie's is now. So that was way prior to zoning. That has nothing to do with, okay, it's across the street, but, you know, that's no. They came and then zoning came. But
Thank you.
please, let's just pause and think is all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we have a motion? I might ask one. I think Kirk could actually provide a little elucidation on essentially the types of buffer issues on any kind of business sites that are part of kind of what's entailed in that. There was not a lot of discussion on that, but you can maybe elaborate on those kind of issues and elaborate on all the soil, water control, erosion issues, and all those kind of things.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. Try and answer the questions in the order that I remember them being asked, but with regards to the development, the perception of it being developed pillar to post and things of that nature, as we mentioned, I didn't mention the specific impervious coverage of the property in my presentation. This property is actually going to be approximately 39% impervious, which means that basically 60% plus of the property is left in a natural state. So that's actually fairly low for a commercial development. Within the CETA area, if CETA was granted, they could still develop up to 70%, but not in this case because this is something that they're being tied to a site-specific plan of development. So the staff believes it's actually doing a good job of preserving the carrying capacity of the site to absorb water. With regard to erosion control, they would have to get erosion control plans once they actually were given approval for rezoning. Then they could get those permits. They would have to make sure there are sedimentation ponds, silt fences, all those control measures were in place, and they would be basically verified by an inspector. As mentioned in the presentation, there's a stormwater pond that's proposed right here that's going to capture and detain water so it can kind of drain out at a slower rate or evaporate. So again, from the ordinance perspective, they are meeting or exceeding the ordinance requirements for all of those areas. From the buffering perspective, you can see there's a green line that kind of goes along the property here. And this is basically a type 2 buffer yard, which is a double row of evergreen trees with some deciduous trees as well and some shrubs. Over a period of probably 5 to 10 years, once those reach maturity, it should do a very good job of screening the folks who mentioned they live here on Rabbit Hollow Court from view of the site. There's also buffering that would be required when this piece is developed with a highway business use. It would be required along this frontage as well, but that wouldn't have to be installed at this point because there's no development that's necessarily going to go there yet. Again, that would have to receive its own entitlements in the phase 2 of this 2-phase plan. There's also a buffer yard, again, a type 2 double row buffer yard on the northern portion of the site. And there's existing vegetation that would be preserved in this undisturbed stream buffer on the west side. So all the RS30 development that would be kind of surrounding the site would all be buffered. Additionally, with the commercial sites, when they do develop, they would be required to install sidewalk along Louisville Clemens Road, and they would be required to have a street yard, which is a 10-foot wide strip with deciduous trees and shrub plantings to screen the view of the corridor from the commercial development. Did that answer your questions, Dr. Martin?
Yes.
Yes,
Follow-up.
yeah, I have some follow-up specifically on the site plan. For whatever reason, a hard copy of the site plan was not included in our packet, so please go back to including those in our packet. But in the absence of that, I need to reference this to be sure that it shows what was described. So if you start from the far left and the stream buffer, does that show a 100-foot undisturbed buffer along the stream?
Yes, sir, it does.
And then beyond that, is that a 30-foot greenway easement?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. And then you get into the stormwater management pond area.
Correct.
Beyond those, all right. And you just described the buffer yard along the residential property side, and so it is a part of the rezoning that the same type 2 buffer yard will be required when and if the property adjacent to the road is developed for commercial use.
It is, Commissioner Bessie, and just for the record, that would actually be required even if it wasn't part of this specific request, because anywhere you have commercial next to RS single-family zoning, the ordinance is going to require that. So even if it wasn't a site plan rezoning like this.
Yeah, I've learned from experience that you need to be sure that something is written in the conditions. And you described the requirements for sidewalk and an additional buffer along the road frontage itself. Those are the only questions I had about the site plan, just to confirm that, all of that was actually in place. I have a comment, but I'll wait till there.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I've got another question, please.
Okay.
Just one question. I believe you stated in your initial presentation, Mr. Erickson, that it was a gentle slope. I can't assess that looking at I can't assess the topography just looking at the road front shot. How gentle is it?
So, Commissioner Wilson, I don't have topo lines on this. That was basically staff's assessment when they wrote the staff report. So what that would mean is basically it's not going to be a sheer drop off, but given the width of the site, I could imagine it's probably going to be tens of feet over the hundreds of feet of site frontage to go down to that creek. So it's not a situation where there's the channel that kind of cuts through and there's a 20-foot cliff above it. But obviously, the closer you get to that channel of the floodway, it is going to steepen. And again, part of this, if we go back to the site plan, and if there's more specific questions, we can lean on the project engineer. But the most erodible or most naturally sensitive part of the site is this part that they're basically leaving undisturbed, and again, having the stormwater pond here. So again, they're keeping development in the flatter portion of the site, but beyond that, we may need to rely on the engineer.
Okay, thank you.
Question. Where there is existing buffer or any trees or tree line, it appears to be, but they proposing to add to that, or if there's tree line there, and it appears on not this picture, but one of them, that would they be taken down and new buffer put up?
So Commissioner Linville, again, I will have to defer to the engineer for specifics, but what I would imagine is in the part of the site that they're not developing, they're going to leave those since the ordinance gives you credit for existing trees and it's easier just to leave those in place. But in the part of the site here and up here where they're going to be planning on having the circulation driveway that goes around the site, they're probably going to need to take those down and plant new just to accommodate the grading, because they have to keep their grading within their property. They can't grade onto someone else's property, so that's probably going to be the most efficient.
Down on the back where the stream is, would, and all streams of any size that I've ever seen, most of them has trees along the side of it. Would those existing, I'm assuming that they're there and the picture indicates that they are, would those existing trees be left as part of a buffer, and if it needs to be added to it, they would add to it?
Now, Commissioner Linville, those would absolutely stay because they're part of the 100-foot undisturbed stream buffer.
And what is the width on that one, the back where the stream is? Buffer?
Well, it's 100 feet. I couldn't tell you the actual channel width. That may be a question for the site plan preparer.
But those, whatever existing trees is there has to be left?
Correct.
Okay.
Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm a motion to approve zoning map amendment F-1661 and statement of consistency and comprehensive plan. I move that the zoning map amendment F-1661, including site plan and special use district permit, be approved on the basis of the following. The proposed special use zoning map amendment as petitioned by Impulse Energy LLC and Impulse Energy 2 LLC to rezone 2 adjacent properties totaling 19.37 acres from RS 30 residential building, single family, 30,000 square foot minimum lot size, to IPS institutional and public special use private school and child care center, and HBS highway business special use with such uses as listed in the ordinance. Is consistent with the recommendations of Legacy Comprehensive Plan and is reasonable or in the public interest because, number one, the subject property consisting of undeveloped and wooded land is located on the west side of Kernersville-Clemens Road across the intersection from Holder Road and is adjacent to property zone LBS, LB, HB, RS9 and RS30 with adjacent and nearby uses of commercial business, schools, single-family homes, a church, and undeveloped land. Number two, the proposed IPS zoning is primarily intended to accommodate public and institutional uses which would have a limited land use impact and limited traffic generation in or near the residential areas. Number three, the proposed HBS zoning district is primarily intended to accommodate retail service and distribution uses in areas with high visibility and good road access, or which primarily cater to passing motorists in growth management area 2, 3, and 4. Number four, the proposed site plan features in the HBS area 2 commercial lots fronting Louisville-Clemens Road, and in the IPS area, a campus of 6 buildings, recreation area, and parking areas. Number five, the site is located in growth management area 3 and has access to public water and sewer. Number six, the proposed site plan meets the requirements for insurance of special intense development allocation for the reasons set forth in the staff report, which is incorporated wherein. And number seven, the proposed use is consistent with the Legacy Comprehensive Plan, which recommends school locations near residential areas and commercial development along thoroughfares, and the proposed use are consistent with surrounding and nearby uses.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Now, discussion. I think you indicated, Commissioner Bessie, you got
I believe Commissioner Woodbury had first dibs on it.
all right.
Thank you, Commissioner Bessie. I will say that in looking at the Legacy Public School, public charter school concept, and, you know, I can appreciate and am a proponent of choice, but when I look at the makeup of the demographics of the schools that you already have in this country, it concerns me greatly because here in Forsyth County, I think we're trying to make sure that our schools are representative of the county that we are, which is a multicultural county. When I look at the demographics of the charter schools now across the country, it seems to be, you know, 80% primarily white students, 2% black, 15% Hispanic. And I think that in saying that causes me, you know, great concern that we're not building schools that are representative of what our county is. And so I do have concern about that, if I'm being honest.
Go ahead, Mr. Bessie.
just a discussion of what we're doing and voting on a rezoning petition. A rezoning petition, I believe by law, is supposed to be decided on whether it meets the requirements of the UDO, Unified Development Ordinance, whether it is in accordance or in opposition to the small area plan that affects the area and the overall plan for the county, and whether it addresses site-specific environmental issues such as are dealt with by the buffer and the erosion, not the erosion control plan, but the stormwater management plan, and the buffer strip along the adjacent single-family area. And I think on the basis of those criteria, that this is one which we are supposed to vote yes on. This is not, by law, a referendum on whether we think that we need more charter schools in Forsyth County. If it were a referendum on that question, I would vote no, quite frankly. But that is not the issue before us in a rezoning case.
Any further discussion? All righty. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. One in opposition, motion carries 6-1. All righty. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the meeting of June 19th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Wizenhut. I'll be happy to second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, do we have any calls or cards for the public session?
Mr. Chairman, we have 6 speaker cards.
All righty.
So the first speaker is James Grace. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Mr. Gray, we're switching to a 3-minute timer now.
Got my clock here. How y'all doing?
We're good.
I am here to talk about the history of Skyland School. I am a graduate of Skyland School. I graduated in the 8th grade from there in 1958. And I am here to tell you that it was an excellent place for me to be educated because it taught me how to play tennis on a clay court. It had a swimming pool. It had all the amenities of a great school simply because it was built for white kids before World War II. And after World War II, then it was taken over by the black community. So I stand here before you today as an engaged citizen and somebody that's very much interested in the development of this property. I have a group that I'm working with who is present here, and we are interested in turning it into a community development zone that will support the revitalization of East Winston. And in order to do that, we need several programs. One dynamic is we got to make some money. The other is we got to be riffed with programs that help people to be able to be self-sufficient and self-sustained so that they can have a shot at life. And because I'm a graduate of Skyland, this project is calling to all of its graduates to come back and let's put together something significant for East Winston, because if we do not do it, nobody else is going to do it. Our programs, let's start with our venture first. We have come up with a project to address the issue of affordable housing. And our approach has simply been that we think there are 3 problems. Cooperation among people who deliver affordable housing, gap financing, and not enough capacity to build enough houses every year to make a significant impact on housing. And as you all know, we are in a deficit of 16,000 units of housing just in the affordable category. And that's a 2016 figure. So my estimate is we probably hovering around 25,000 just in the affordable category. So our plan addresses those issues that I talked about. And specific to that, and what is integral about it, is how we raise money for gap financing. That's a problem that we think we can solve, and we address it. And also the issue of homelessness. And just to make a comment on homelessness, if you convert all of the activity that is eleemosynary and convert it into equity and spend and designate the money you're spending as equity on these people rather than just a giveaway, it would begin to address homelessness. So our perspective has come with not looking in the rearview mirror, but looking at what's in front of us and where things are going. So our housing, I'm done? That's 3 minutes?
See if you can
Okay.
wrap it up. It's 3 minutes has passed.
Okay. Questions?
Thank you for being here.
None? Okay.
It's not a discussion period. It's a comment period. So thank you. We heard you.
The next speaker is Jimmy Bonham. Come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon to the board and to the commissioners. My name is Jimmy Bonham. I live at 1617 East 14th Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I come here today because we were alerted that there is a developer who has bidded on the Skyland School project. We have met with county staff several occasions trying to assess the usage for the Skyland School project. And as a resident, as a business owner, and as a member of a community-based organization, we had several meetings in our community with residents who felt it was incumbent upon the residents to make the community better. So we do have a vision, number one. We have a plan, number two. And we have financing to help facilitate or pay for the vision and plan in which we have. My original intent was to come and make a request for you all to pull the bid for the current bidder. And the reason for being, it was brought to our attention that the current developer who's bidding on the Skyland School project has received city money to develop county property. And that didn't smell right, doesn't sound right, and I don't know if it is right. But whatever it may be, that's a real concern with some of the citizens in our community. Number one. Number two is, say for instance, if you guys do not plan to pull the developer's bid, then we come prepared to upset his bid. Just wanting you all to know, we're just not coming and talking. We do have a plan, and we put our money where our mouth is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cannell Caesar, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, you all. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak at this time on behalf of East Winston and the Skyline School. My biggest thing is I just had an interest of
Did you give us your address? I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, 1100 Rich Avenue, Cannell Caesar. Yeah, so my biggest concern tied to the Skyline School was with the disparities tied to East Winston at this time with literacy rates, lack of programming tied to parks and recreation, and the lack of workforce development in our community on the east side, social emotional programming. Whoever received the Skyline School, will there be a wraparound approach tied to the level of programming that is beneficial for the East Side community? That's one of my biggest concerns. So I pose that question. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kieran Cuthrell, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Karen Q. Cuthrell, 500 West 5th Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I am Karen Cuthrell, and I stand before you here today with love in my heart and truth on my tongue. Skyland School is more than an address. It is a monument to Black history, community strength, and educational excellence in Winston-Salem. My father walked those halls, and before eminent domain came to Graham Avenue in the 60s, I used to walk down to Skyland School with my grandfather and my grandmother. Generations of children grew up under the care of teachers who not only taught reading and writing, but instilled dignity, pride, and possibility. And now, this sacred place stands at a crossroads. The developer bidding for Skyland, Enfield Delicate LLC, has already shown us how they do work. At the Heights on Greensboro Road, they received $690,000 in public funds. In return, the records show that they delivered fewer affordable housing units than promised, came back for more money, and changed their plans in midstream. That is not partnership, that is opportunism. And I ask you today, is that what we want shaping the future at Skyland? We do not need another building project. We need a community project, as Raj Chetty from Howard says, one that includes housing, yes, but also emotional intelligence services, mental wellness services in that community, workforce development, early childhood education, and youth programming. We complain now about our children on the streets because there's nothing for them to do. We need wraparound services that honor the whole person and the whole family and the whole community. This is public land, and it should serve the public good. The people of this county, especially those of us who are never invited to the table with proper notices, are saying enough. Enough. No more sales behind closed doors. No more profit-driven projects disguised as public service. No more erasing our history to build someone else's future. There's a community vision already formed, and we're formed, one rooted in equity, love, healing, and ownership. We're not asking for a handout. We're asking for a chance to build something beautiful by us and for us. Commissioners, you have a choice. You can sell this land to the developer with a questionable track record and with no vision and with no legacy, or you can stand with the people who carry Skyland's legacy in their bones. This is just not a vote. It's a stand for truth, for justice, for community. We thank you. We ask you to stand with us.
Thank you.
Michael Banner, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Banner from 515 North Jackson Avenue. First of all, I want to say thank you for serving and even giving me an opportunity to speak before you, and even for some of the consideration you've given me even recently. I don't have a lot to say behind Ms. Cuthrell and everybody else. She said a lot, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I am self-defined as a chief catalyst for my organization, which is Island Cultures. And we have looked at this property for over 15 years, looked at Skyland Field. It connects directly with our community, which is the island. I'm aware of the work that's been done in the Brushy Fork Greenway that connects our communities. So basically, we look at this as a grand opportunity to partner with other community members. We don't want it just for ourselves. We did do a visioning session back in 2021. I had to kind of kick the door in to invite myself, but it was a lot of well-noted people that contributed to a vision. And the vision was in things like affordable housing, health and wellness, food. All these things are highlighted from community. And I brought this book because I just came back from Morganton, and they have an establishment called Industrial Commons, and they've created a great model out of building a hub out of co-ops to leverage existing infrastructure in community to make it a greater, more established thing, letting the nonprofit kind of handle the big costs and letting people from the community come in and develop their work, you know what I'm saying, get workforce development and education and things like that. So just like the woman said earlier, I'm just beckoning you to please take a pause, just think this over, allow community to build, rehash our plans. And like Ms. Kuthel said, this is more than a property grab. This is history. And this is a great opportunity that we might not get another opportunity like this. So thank you for your time and appreciate you.
Thank you.
Marcy West, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Marcy West, 331 Carolina Circle. I just wanted to, first of all, reiterate my disappointment that we have these meetings at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see there are many people here. They all had to take time off from work, or if they were able to come. For things like this, where there are so many zoning issues, it's really a disappointment that we don't meet the community need and meet at a time that's more convenient for everybody. The other thing I wanted to do is just comment on the Skyline School. It sounds like there are some exciting plans that are potential. I know I think you're not considering the sale of the school, but whether you put this up for upset bids, and I would think that would really be a good opportunity for people to make some of these plans move forward. I drove by the school. I can see why you would want to retain it, have it in the community. There's that park there. Like, there's a lot of reasons. And we do have this need for affordable housing that's very important. And being able to tie it into the community and have the community be the ones that are leading that really would be terrific. So thank you.
The last speaker is Dr. Tasha Lowe. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Name is Dr. Tasha Lowe. Address is 335 Creekview Drive. Business address is 1922 South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I represent New Era Consulting at 1922 South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my husband, Dr. Brandon Lowe. I bring you a powerful vision emerging from the Skyline community, crafted by those who know it's rich in legacy and are passionately prepared to write this next chapter. This isn't about charity. It's about collective action. We are organizing, strategizing, and forging a coalition of neighborhoods, advocates, and local leaders committed to community-driven development. We see Skyline not just as real estate, but as a beacon of hope, healing, opportunity, owned by its community, operated by its residents, and for its residents. Selling Skyline now to infill, regardless of their intentions, will close the door on community ownership. It would eliminate the chance for us to demonstrate a model rooted in equity, collective care, and long-term stewardship. We respectfully ask you, deny any sales, deny any bids from inland, and give the community a space to lead. We are here to show you how, with your support, Skyline can be a national model with residents leading transformational development, and aligning with local history and future needs. Let us prove that true revitalization happens when communities are trusted, when they lead, and when long-term impact guides development, not quick returns. Thank you for your time, your thoughtful consideration. We look forward to partnering with you to make Skyland a story of community empowerment and sustainable growth. I land. Dr. Tasha Lowe. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Madam County Manager, none of the comment here relative?
Just a quick comment for folks who are not aware, this is on for a discussion item later in the agenda. It's item 26, and the discussion will be in order at that time. So anyone who has time and wants to stick around for more on this issue, it's coming up, item number 26, later this afternoon.
Ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Commissioner, staff, and guests. The agenda items before you have been briefed and hopefully questions answered. Agenda item number 5 is an amendment to the 2024 Drone Study Grant Projects Ordinance to increase salaries and wages to accommodate allowable overhead costs from fiscal year 25. This would decrease other general and administrative budget by $45,000 and increase the salaries and wages line item by the same amount.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut, second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 6 is an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to appropriate countywide overlay fire tax fund balance for a capital asset analysis of the county fire system. This would appropriate $49,990 that will be used to hire a consultant to analyze the fire capital assets through the system and create a system-wide capital improvement plan.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut, second by Commissioner Wilson. Discussion. I just make one comment. We kind of heard a part 1 of the emergency EMS, fire service, and 911 today, earlier this morning, and this was actually referenced as something that would be a helpful tool for us, and I'm pleased that we're going forward. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 7 is an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to appropriate countywide overlay fire tax fund balance for partial funding of the fireworks contract. This will appropriate $71,000 to be used to fund the records management system used by fire departments.
Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 8 is a resolution authorizing execution of 2 grant agreements between Forsyth County and the North Carolina Department of Transportation to fund a replacement perimeter fencing project at Smith Reynolds Airport, and a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract for a replacement perimeter fencing project at the airport. The airport received 2 DOT grants awarded in the amount of $83,412.90 and $5,013, which can be used to cover 90% of the construction of the fence. It also authorizes the manager to execute amendments to the grant agreements in an amount not to exceed $4,421.30. And then the second part awards a contract with Revels Construction Incorporated with a bid of $70,000 and the ability for the manager to sign change orders not to exceed $3,500.
I'd be happy to make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 9 is a resolution by the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners authorizing execution of opioid settlements with secondary opioid manufacturers, Purdue Pharma LP, and the Sackler family, and approving the 3rd supplemental agreement for additional funds between the state of North Carolina and local governments on proceeds relating to the settlement of opioid litigation. This item essentially authorizes the county manager or county attorney to execute agreements which we would receive additional opioid settlement funds.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Vice Chair Wizenhut, second by Commissioner Wilson. Discussion. Maybe we could, the amount of money, as I recall, new money is about $4 million, is that right? Over the life of the
It should be approximately $4.5 million over
4.5 million.
15
That
years.
brings our total to around
42 million.
42 million. That's certainly good news for something that needs to be done, and I'm glad we're here. All righty, thank you.
Agenda item number 10 is a resolution.
May not have voted.
I don't think so.
Forgot discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Happy to accept $4.5 million.
Agenda item number 10 is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the North Carolina Opioid Settlement Special Revenue Fund to change the strategy for 2 funded programs. This is a technical change that shifts 2 programs from one strategy to different strategies as advised by the North Carolina Opioid Settlement Technical Assistance Team. It does not change the use of funds, amount awarded, or total budget.
Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Happy to second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Go, Annie.
Agenda item number 11 is a resolution selecting Cherry Beckard LLP to complete the annual independent audit for Forsyth County and authorizing execution of an engagement letter and audit contract subject to approval by the Secretary of the Local Government Commission for fiscal years 25, 26, and 27. This is a 3-year contract in an amount not to exceed $418,500.
Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion?
These guys have been helping keep us out of trouble for a while now. Audits are important.
Audits are important. All righty. Any other discussion? All-
How many years have we used this?
I think Cherry Beckett's the last 3 years, is that correct? And prior to that, we had a different auditor. So this is just our second renewal of a 3-year term. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 12 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Information Inc. to provide hosting and maintenance services for the II reception application. This is a 1-year agreement with options to renew services for 2 additional years. Total payments under the agreement are not to exceed $88,000 for fiscal year 26, payments not to exceed $91,200 for fiscal year 27, and payments not to exceed $96,700 for fiscal year 28.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner McDaniel.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 13 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. for economic development services. This is a 1-year agreement in an amount not to exceed $285,000.
Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioners Wilson and McDaniel. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 14 is a resolution selecting and awarding a contract for professional design services for the Blues Lake Park Phase 2 project. This awards a contract to Stimmel Associates in an amount not to exceed $271,000.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Linville. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 15 is a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract for fire alarm inspection services for various Forsyth County building locations. This awards a 3-year contract to MSS Fire and Security LLC in an amount not to exceed $192,403.44.
We have a motion.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 16 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with MES Service Company LLC to upgrade and replace self-contained breathing apparatus in an amount not to exceed $114,747 plus tax in an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to appropriate countywide overlay fire tax fund balance for the upgrade and replacement of the fire self-contained breathing apparatus.
Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 17 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of certain radio equipment to be used by Forsyth County Fire Departments from Motorola Solutions, Inc. in an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to appropriate countywide overlay fire tax fund balance for communications equipment to support the county fire system. This is in an amount not to exceed $513,899.
Do we have a motion? Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 18 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of an agreement with the 911 Board and an interlocal agreement between Forsyth County and the town of Kernersville for distribution of 911 secondary public safety answering point funds in the amount of $18,154.70.
We have a motion.
Move approval.
Motion approved. A motion to approve by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 19 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Wake Forest University Baptist Medical Center for medical direction services for emergency medical services. This is a 35-month contract in an amount not to exceed $408,100.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 20 is a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract to P&G Security Guard, Inc., doing business as P&G Security for contracted private security services at the Forsyth County Law Enforcement and Detention Center. This is a one-year contract in an amount not to exceed $748,360.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. There's
Second.
We have a second by Commissioners Linville and Bessie. Any discussion?
Thank the sheriff for the cost savings.
Yes, please, and pleased to see that phase out is beginning. Thank you. Not that it's just, it's going to help us. We're at a good place to get out. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 21 is a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract to the FMRT Group LLC for pre- and post-hire psychological and medical services for the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. This is a 2-year contract in an amount not to exceed $225,000.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 22 is a resolution awarding a contract for the purchase of law enforcement duty footwear. This is a 1-year contract with an option 1-year renewal. Fiscal year 26 not to exceed $55,000. Fiscal year 27 is if renewed would not exceed $56,650 for a total of $111,650.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner McDaniel. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 23 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of a renewal for an additional 5 years of the interlocal agreement between Forsyth County on behalf of the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, the City of Winston-Salem on behalf of the Winston-Salem Police Department, and the Town of Kernersville on behalf of the Kernersville Police Department for the continuation of the Drug Task Force. This would extend the interlocal agreement for 5 more years.
We have a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel and Commissioner Wilson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 24 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of an interlocal agreement between Forsyth County and the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education for the provision of school resource officer deputy services. This is a 10-month contract, and Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools would pay the county $4,088,136.
Do we have a motion? Motion approved by Commissioner Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Woodbury. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 25 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of a second amendment to the interlocal agreement between Forsyth County and the Village of Clemens for community policing services, in an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to appropriate funding for an additional position for the Village of Clemens community policing contract, and an associated amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget ordinance to increase the number of sheriff's employees for an additional Clemens position. Essentially, this contract amendment includes the addition of one corporal and one deputy for a total of 18 deputies plus 2 new vehicles. The item also includes a budget ordinance amendment to increase the number of authorized positions by our board. The total cost to the Village of Clemens is $2,839,514.
Do we have a motion? Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie. Is there a second? Be happy to second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 26 is a resolution authorizing publication of an offer to purchase county-owned real property by negotiated offer, advertisement, and upset bids procedure. At the March 13th board meeting, the board unanimously directed us to advertise 2050 Big House Gaines Boulevard and solicit fair market value offers. I know there's been several questions about this, and Kirby Robinson, our Community Economic Development Director, provided additional information to the board via memo. I will ask him to come up and provide a brief update on what's occurred between Monday and today.
Thank you, Madam Manager. And good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Board. Appreciate the opportunity to be back in front of you today. As the Manager said, at the March 13th meeting, the Board directed the Manager to solicit fair market value offers. At that time, the intent was for that to go through the upset bid process, which is revenue-based. And so we treated that as a real estate deal, as we have with Clemens Library and as we're doing with Amos Cottage right now. An open and offer period for 90 days. We showed the property multiple times to multiple interested bidders. Since the briefing on Monday, I have connected with Ms. Evans, who was provided by Commissioner Woodbury. Enjoyed our conversation there and tried to explain a little bit about the process in the sense that this is not an item that deeds the property to a new owner or transfers the property. It advertises the offer for upset bids, where any other potential bidder could come in and upset that bid. And I think the attorney provided the guidance around that it's a little bit of an overly complicated process where you essentially raise the bid by 5%. It's a little bit different than that. But anybody that would want to upset the Infill Delegate LLC bid, which is right now $150,000, would go to the clerk within that 10-day upset bid period and would make an offer. They would have to provide certified funds to do that. That would restart the 10-day upset bid period, and that continues until you have the last and highest bidder. We also spent a little bit of time looking into some of the past projects of the potential developer, which is Infill Delegate LLC. I believe the Heights was mentioned. And again, I didn't do a lot of that work up front because the goal was to solicit offers. Well, once we had an offer, there was something then to look into. And that's part of the community engagement piece. Our past practice has been, once the board selects an offer, then to notify folks and engage the community during that upset bid process. And that's certainly what we would intend to do this time as well. I went out to you can see in the memo, and took some photos of the Heights and profiled a little bit of the Infill Delegate offer with respect to Skyland. I think we were surprised in that offer to see that it was an adaptive reuse model. And by that, I mean, General Services looked at the property and said, the condition is bad. That's why Family Services moved out in 2024, is because it had structural issues. Part of it was sinking. There were just facility condition assessment issues that the cost of repair really exceeded what they felt like they could do there or should do there, and that's why they relocated. General Services looked at it and said this is a potential demolition, just because, again, the condition had deteriorated over the years. So we were surprised to see in the Infill Delegate offer that there was they were actually saving the facilities. They were going to turn them into housing units. There's 35 dwelling units that's proposed. There's 10 for the annex, 25 for the main building. I will say, I'm going to talk a little bit about their proposal. They are not restricted in the sense that they would have to do this. So, if this, an upset bid, they've made a proposal. Let's say that went through the process and they say, we're going to redevelop this with 35 units. There's nothing in the deed that would say for them or for any other buyer that they have to do that. I just want to be clear about that. But you can see with the Heights, they have a track record of redeveloping properties for affordable housing.
So could I ask a quick question?
Yes,
right
ma'am.
there? Although there's no restrictive deed, us as commissioners can create that status, correct?
I'd have to defer to the county attorney on that. I'm sorry.
Gordon can help us with that.
You can create restrictions, but that would tend to lessen
I
the
understand. All right.
ability to get an upset bid, but you can't, you can only restrict it to what the county could legally do. And so you couldn't restrict it to say it had to be affordable housing. But anyhow, that's something that could be done. And just while I have the microphone, I just want to point out that the gentleman indicated earlier that if this passes, he might want to make an upset bid. I just wanted to give the precise number that it would have to be. And as Kirby said, it's slightly complicated. The bid on the table now is $150,000. An upset bid would have to be at least, it could be more, but it would have to be at least $157,550. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In terms of the offer, again, the annex building they are proposing to convert to workforce housing with a target AMI range of 80 to 120%. That's 10 units. The main building they have labeled as mixed workforce and senior housing, and that would be 25 units. Again, the developer was here Monday. That briefing ran a little long, and they were not able to stay until we got to this item. But Bryce Shearburn is the owner and manager of Enfield Delicate LLC, and he's certainly offered to come back and make a presentation to the board about what his plans are there. In a future phase of development, there's a large parking lot there. They would construct 8 new units for senior housing that would be restricted to 60 to 80% AMI. So that's the proposal that's in front of the board. Again, sort of an adaptive reuse model of the Skyland site, connected, again, with Commissioner Woodbury's contact, and appreciated that conversation. And certainly happy to answer any questions the board has.
I do just want to give Kyle Haney an opportunity. While we were sitting here, we did get information from the city on the comment about the Heights project and that it was not done well. And so we reached out to the city to find out from their perspective what happened.
Yeah, good afternoon, Commissioner. So I did reach out to city staff to understand how they performed on that project. The city did provide $690,000 towards the redevelopment of units out there at the Commons, now the Heights. And from our understanding, they actually changed the plan and provide additional units. So originally they were supposed to provide 20 units. They provided 22 units. And from what the city said, they deliver all those units and were in accordance with what they promised.
And it's not county property. That was not county property, just to clarify.
What is the amount per month for the units for rent? Do you know right off?
I don't know what exactly that would be, but since they are income restricted, generally that is a percentage of whatever the tenant's monthly income is. But I don't know what they're listed at.
So I'll give you an example. For instance, the Peters Creek Parkway. I mean, it is probably the model of what I would say is ideal affordable housing. That would strike me as an amazing job if someone could get rent as low as the Peters Creek Parkway housing units. So that's why I'm asking what that, but.
So those received low-income housing tax credits from the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. Those are restricted to 60% AMI or below. And so it is a sliding scale based off of the income of the tenant.
Thank you.
So do you have an idea about, you mentioned in the upset bid process, an outreach opportunity for the community. What does that look like? I mean, we've talked about, you know, how's the best way in the next, you know, if we were to approve this today, I guess the 10-day meter starts running. What is a way that we could better educate and offer the how to do it, I guess is what I'm getting at.
That's a great question. I think being here today and hearing some of the comments kind of helps educate me on sort of what we would want that to look like. We'd have to spend some time thinking about that and talking to some community leaders and figuring out what they feel like could be appropriate in that respect. We could always time the upset bid notice. It doesn't have to go out immediately, to give us a little bit of time to plan that and make sure that we have ample notice and proper notice to folks and figure that out. I would not recommend a meeting on site. And frankly, the reason for that is the condition of the facility. Again, I think that is a little bit of a misnomer here that, you had a facility that's in bad shape and it's gotten worse since over the last 6 months because half of it caught on fire. And so, we would want to meet. Maybe we can meet here at the Government Center.
Well, there is a facility, a recreation center that is in that area, so I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
that's more appropriate versus making people come all the way.
Oh, sure. And that's the type of thing we would figure out. Yes, ma'am.
That sounds like a plan. Go ahead.
I have a couple questions for our attorney, just to confirm what I think I already understand, but just for everyone. As I understand it, and this is reflected in the language of the resolution, of course, we do not have on our agenda today any option to simply accept the existing offer. We have an option to start an upset bid process. Is that correct?
Yes, there are a variety of ways to sell property. We've not done the prerequisites for anything other than to publish the upset bid. So what you asked is correct. There would be, no matter what happens today, the property will not be sold based on this action alone.
And in specific, the resolution makes clear that the commissioners may accept the final offer after an upset bid process concludes, but we are not obligated to accept any offer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And so what this resolution that's on the table for our consideration today would do would be to keep the process moving and give a specific opportunity to other groups, including, I was delighted to hear Mr. Bonham say today that they are prepared to submit an upset bid. And so that would give us at least two interested parties running and moving forward with it if that took place. Is that a correct understanding?
That is correct, and I will note, what Kirby said is fine. If the board wanted to, he could determine when the notice is placed, but once that notice is placed, then you are under a strict 10-day limit for an upset bid to be made. So once the notice is done, that starts the process, and then the process keeps going until there are no more upset bids. There could be a third upset bid, there could be a fourth upset bid. You could have a bidding war going on for a while. It doesn't usually happen, but it could happen. And then at the end of all that, the board could decide, well, we don't want to sell.
Gordon, if I may ask a question relative to the timetable, it sounds like we do have some additional time. So getting back into the community, could it be 15 or 30 days before we make notice?
It's up to the board. I would not recommend waiting too long because offers go stale. It could be withdrawn
I want to be able to give
it's up to
the
you.
community time and inform them. So, okay.
Any further discussion?
Well, is this discussion?
Well, we're not.
I mean, we were asking questions at the beginning. We had Kirby is here. Any more questions for Kirby? And then I was going to call and see if there were a motion.
Yeah, I do have some comments, but no discussion, no more questions.
I do have in lieu of just being mindful of the constituents that have come today with, I think, a reasonable ask to ask for a substitute motion to to stop this publication of an offer and reopen it in 30 days is what I would put a substitute motion.
And we don't have a motion yet. That could be the. Well, and I messed that up myself. I didn't want to imply that. We were just asking questions, discussing additional information since the briefing. And if there are no more questions for Kirby, we could entertain a motion getting where you're headed. So, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make motion to stop the publication of this offer and delay it for 30 days.
Which would be approving the upset bid with the notice to go out 30 days from today, and then the 10-day meter begins. Am I understanding that? Just want to be sure.
So I was thinking that this publication, so we would go into another 30 days is how I basically see it.
As I understand it, process-wise, the motion before us is to deal with approving, to take the upset, we're approving this to initiate the upset bid process, which when it is done, last 10 days, what I heard Kirby say is that it could take several days to get everything together is the best way, but and then we could advertise and notice. You're suggesting to add a certain number of days before that notice is sent out. And you're suggesting 30 days, and I have no problem with that if no one else does. That can be
for the attorney. Is that what is being suggested? Is that legally to do it that way, or just reject the offer now? Because where we're at, we've had the offer, and we are at to put it up for the upset bid, right, Kirby?
We have not had that action yet, but that's what that's what is before us today, is whether to do that.
Okay, we can, to continue or delay it for 30 days, we can legally do that, Mr. Attorney, is that correct? Or reject the bid?
What I am hearing, and Commissioner Woodbury can please correct me if this is mistaken, is that the effect of her motion, I believe, would be to approve the motion before you, but to have the notice go out, I would say Monday, either Sunday, August 24th, or Monday, August 25th. That would be, or whatever day you want it. But generally, notices go out on a weekday, so I would say August 25th. Is that correct, or are you asking for something else?
That's not correct.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so, because I wasn't focused so much on the upset bid period than ending this actual current publication and adding another 30 days and then put the publication out there, and then it goes to upset bid.
So is your motion to deny this bid and start over with the bidding process?
For 30 days, yes.
Well, if you're going to do that, it seemed to me you need to put a floor on it then. It seems like to me, I'm going to just make a suggestion. The simplest way for where we are right now is to go ahead and go through the process, put it up for the upset bid, and when that time expires, then we'll either have an upset bid or we'll have the 150 that's offered now, and then the board can decide whether to accept that upset one. Just say, no, we're not accepting it, and just leave it at there. Can you stop at that? You can stop at that point and not have other upset from that point?
Yeah, just so we're clear, I believe we do now have a motion before you, so it might be proper to call for a second.
Yeah, we have a motion, and if I understand the motion now, that's not the way I
How
understood
do
it.
you understand it, Dr. Martin?
Well, now I think you're saying basically average to solicit. We're actually rejecting. We're not advertising. We're not going to have an upset bid, which means effectively that the bid in hand is canceled, and then we're saying we'd like to accept proposals. We're like starting over 30 days later. I mean, we'll consider that. And if that's what you're suggesting, I think that's not the way to approach this.
So
I think I think I think the effect of what you want is time for others to both understand the proposal and to submit an upset bid. That doesn't happen unless we authorize an upset bid to begin. So we can do that, and I think Kirby's point was that if we wait 30 days, there's also a chance that the person who, I guess, made the offer, could withdraw his offer, I suspect. The person who said, you know.
If we were not go forward with this, we'll have to make a motion, or we just reject the $150,000 that is offered, and that just stops it. It seems to me, does it, Mr. Attorney? Get your time, whatever you want, and then nothing comes of that, advertise it again. Or say it's for sale.
I'm sorry, I lost you there. I think.
I think the
I've
point is
exhausted about all of my energy. I'm going to let the rest of them figure it out, and I'll vote when you get there.
I don't think there's a second.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the motion is. How about restating your motion, Commissioner Woodbury, and then we will call for us.
I got that much more confused, but I do think that, to your point, Chair Martin, my overall point is to allow at least 30 days for the community to be able to present a plan through, and I think it's fair through even if it is the upset bid period. Right now, there's only 10 days. So however we can get to 30 days, I am willing to, negotiate that to get a second and hopefully, a majority for 30 days.
So make that in the form of a motion.
Oh, my.
Can we just change right now you're proposing for the county for upset of 10 days. Well, can we put another time period in there to get what Ms. Woodbury is talking about, whether it be 30 days? Can we change that 10 days?
We can't change the 10 days, but I think the motion could be that the present motion be approved, provided that the notice go out August 25th.
30 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep, I can make that motion.
So that is your motion.
And
Yes.
she gets my second.
Now, all my energy's gone now. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. I'm going to vote. That's all I can do now.
So is there a second for that motion?
I just seconded.
Well, excuse me, second by Commissioner McDaniel. Now, is there any additional discussion?
I would like to. I will not support this motion, number one, because this is the way we have always done bids, and upset bids are 10 days. The gentleman who has given an offer of $150,000 is legitimate, and from what I can understand from our staff, the community knew that this was up for bid. And I am going by our staff, who gives us information, and he's never given me bad information yet. And 10 days is a legitimate amount of time for folks to, if you either know today if you can give us an upset bid, or you don't know today. So in 10 days, surely you know if you can do an upset bid or not. And so I'm voting against it because I think it's unfair to the first bidder. All I've heard since Commissioner Woodbury's been on this board is affordable housing. The guy is going to do affordable housing. So if you turn this down, I don't want to ever hear affordable housing again. So I am opposed to the motion.
Is there further discussion? Commissioner Benson.
Yes. I'm going to vote for the motion because I think the only thing this does beyond the normal process is give additional time for preparation of an upset bid. And I don't think that's unreasonable in in the case where certainly some parties were aware of the option to come in with bids and had previously elected not to do that. I think that this motion conveys the sense of the board that we want forward motion on this. We want frankly, we want the property out of the county's hands and into the hands of folks who are going to do a productive project, including housing for the community. And I think that this moves us forward with that in a way that also permits a little extra time for the preparation and submission of that alternative proposal.
I'd probably like to make a substitute motion, and partly to try to compromise. I think 30 days and then a 10 days after is simply too long. I think a person, we solicited proposals in March. You know, we've had 3 months basically to get to 4 months to get to this point, and it's been out there. So, but the point is, I think we ought to, if we go forward, and I think we should go forward, we agreed that we wanted to surplus this property, seek proposals. We have a proposal that is very legitimate, and I think we need to go forward. But I think we could be a sort of the notice to go out on a not later day, and 30 days is too many for me. I can support going with the notice going out in 10 days from this day, whatever day that is, a week from, what is a week from Monday? That would be August the 4th, whatever that is. That's a day. August the 4th, that's basically a week plus 3 or 4 days. And I think then would it be 10 days from that point. So my substitute motion would just to go forward with the advertisement for the 10-day upset bid to be sent out in the community no later than August, send it on August the 4th.
I second your
So
amendment.
Chairman, well, first of all, there was a motion on the floor from Commissioner Woodbury that has not been voted on. So let's say that first.
Well, we will vote,
Wait a minute, wait.
Go ahead.
Up. And then second of all, what you're saying goes right back to the agenda item that's on here. So it doesn't allow community to have any additional time. So
Yeah,
what I was thinking that you were going to say was at least delay the notice at least 20 days, and then you would still have 10 days to do the upset bid. But you didn't say that, so I'm not going to be in favor of your motion, but I would like to just vote on the motion that's already on the floor from Commissioner Woodbury, please. Thank you.
We'll vote on the amended motion first. So we have the amended motion is to go forward with the upset bid, have the notice go out on August the 4th, and then the 10-day period will begin after that point. So we've had a motion, we have a second. Now, any other further discussion on that motion?
So I do have a point to make. I think that it's sort of disappointing, Dr. Martin. I said, well, we could finally agree on something, but nevertheless, I know we came real close, and I appreciate your first effort to try to find a compromise on this issue. I do think that the community has come out in good faith to address the commission in a very respectful way to see their side, and one could have come to address us, to give us their perspective. And I would have loved to see the gentleman that is with the current bid on the table right now, Mr. Shearburn, I think, to explain to us his motivation, his plan to bring about a strong housing plan for Winston-Salem. To be quite honest, I have heard from, and I did let the person know from the Family Services Board that I would not say a name, but from my understanding, there was another plan of housing with Family Services or some other development deal with the same gentleman, and there were some very stressful situations going on. So I don't know him. I have tried to get some intel about him. So I just don't have his side of the story for me to believe. And with all due respect to Vice Chair Wisenhunt, she has listened to me over and over and over and over and over again about affordable housing. I just do not trust that this gentleman is going to do exactly what he is proposing. And quite frankly, when I look at the plan, it is not a progressive, what I would call responsive to the needs of community plan. And if he would have tried to, I say, work with the community, maybe there could have been some synergy and they came together to present a proposal to the county commission. So I do hope that we can, to Commissioner McDaniel's point, even if we just add 20 plus 10, that gets us to a version of 30. But I don't know how much more we can negotiate to at least service the constituents that are here in trying to move this thing forward in a fair way to all.
Mr. Chairman, what about split the difference? Just what was suggested, do it, wait 20 days and then send out the 10-day notice. I mean, we're not talking about a major qualitative difference in the action. We're not at the end of the day obligated to accept any bid, but I think we would have a better chance of permitting the thoughtful completion of a meaningful alternative upset bid with the full 30 days than with 20 days. I mean, it's, in either case, I don't think that we're substantially increasing the likelihood of withdrawal of the original offer. If a party is committed to going forward with a plan involving, quite frankly, a couple $1 million worth of investments in a project, they're not likely to yank that bid over a 20-day delay.
So I'd like to have some discussion before we move forward. I want this community to know that I am for transformative change in our communities. And I'm very deeply connected with Skyland as well. It was called Sarah Y. Austin when my daughter was in pre-K in that area. And I just wanted to say that when I found out that this infill was providing housing for our seniors, I thought it was a great idea. Again, on March the 13th, when we had our commissioner meeting, and knowing the heart of Commissioner Woodbury and affordable housing, I thought this was going to be good. So I've been on the ground with the National Community Develop Corporation for some time, and I just met with the folks on Monday. They assured me that they would be ready for the upset bid when I told them that there was an offer on the table. So no matter how this goes today, we got to get on the ground and work. I need to hear from you. Mr. James Grace, I'm going to tell you that you kind of got me off when you got up because you started talking about housing, and that's not one of the 6 components that we talked about when you and Karen and us all met. So I was just kind of confused with that. But nevertheless, we have documentation dating back where Kyle has worked alongside you guys for months because I wanted to make sure that he was connecting and communicating with you all. I made sure that you guys had access to that building to look at it. And since that time, since June, I would assume that the capital would have been available and ready for this purchase. So with all that being said, I hope that however this goes, that we're ready to get on the ground, even if it's tomorrow, to talk about what the next steps are going to be in terms of the upset bid. If it's 10 days and if it goes 20 or 30 days, we got to be ready if this is something that you want. I have not had an opportunity to talk to the infill folks. I know the work that they have done in the past, and I can speak to that because I've seen it. So you got me in a crossroad, but I want to be able to support community, but you got to be able to support us back. Okay? All right.
I'd be happy to amend my motion, and I checked with the seconder right next to me, to go more in line with further compromise, as Commissioner Bessie has suggested. And how about 18 days and advertising the 11th? So that's a Monday. That's a Monday is 11th, a week later. So it would be to approve the upset bid, to agree to upset bid for this property, the $150,000 bid that we received, and the notice will go out on August the 11th with the 10-day period to begin. And Vice Chair Wisnut was agreeable to second. Any further discussion on that?
I just need to ask one question of the county attorney. This doesn't follow the statutory bid process that we're all used to. Are you telling me that at any time this infill, which has placed the bid and filed a deposit, can withdraw from that and receive a refund? I mean, since the county has the authority to say yay or nay at the end, is that correct? He can walk at any point? I just wanted to know the answer to that question.
I think
it doesn't follow the standard bid.
Yeah, I think if you were going to extend it a long period, he might have an argument for that. But if you're talking about a couple weeks, I think the offer should be set now. So I agree with you.
Well, I'm not sure you do. You're saying it's set for now, but at some point it's not.
No, I'm just saying if you said, we're not going to publish a notice for 90 days or something like that, some extended period of time. But if the current motion before the board for the 11th, I think that should work out fine.
Thank you.
Meaning that he could not withdraw his that's kind of what I was getting at.
Without losing his 5%. I understand from Kirby that the 5% deposit has been made already. So as long as we publish the notice within a reasonable period of time, which I would think that would be reasonable, then he should not be able to withdraw the offer without losing the deposit.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 27 is a resolution authorizing execution of a lease agreement with RHA Behavioral Health LLC for lease of 11,820 square feet of county-owned real property located at 650 Highland Avenue. This is a 3-year agreement for a base annual rental amount of $70,329 for the purpose of operating a facility-based crisis center.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner McDaniel. Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 28 is an ordinance ordering the Forsyth County Community and Economic Development Department to declare a dwelling unfit for human habitation and otherwise to effectuate the purpose of the Forsyth County Minimum Housing Code. The county has received multiple code-related complaints on this property located at 5940 Britton's Drive dating back to February 2025. Staff inspected the property and determined that it is currently in violation of Forsyth County Code 7-114 for its structural conditions. The housing administrator issued an order to repair the property on March 6, 2025, but the property has not been repaired. This ordinance directs the Community Economic Development Department to place a placard on the main entrance of the dwelling stating that the property is unfit for human habitation and making it a Class 1 misdemeanor to reside in the dwelling.
Questions before there's a motion? I know this is hard stuff, Kirby, but you still got a good attitude. Good attitude under the pressure like it's good.
I'm just glad to be here, sir.
So, Mr. Bessie, you was within a mile of the crossroad. I knew where the cross was, but it wasn't just right there close. I had to figure it out. and it wasn't off of Blues Creek Road. It was off of Blues Creek Road, but it was in a development. If you'd have said Salem Quarter, I'd have known where it was exactly. Well, anyway, so I went a little bit yesterday evening to look for it, and I didn't see it right off, so I decided I would just wait. So I checked it out this morning. That's one of the most unusual ones that I've seen.
Yes, sir.
Did your staff have access to the inside of it?
Yes, sir. We've inspected it a couple of times. Once when Kyle was director, a couple years ago, and then once recently with me and the current code officer.
Is the inside tore up?
Yes, sir. So without going into a great level of detail, I think you're dealing with some behavioral health type of issues that cause garbage to essentially pile up through the entire house, waist and higher. And so, what you have there is a sanitary issue and blocking egress, which are minimum housing code issues. So I think it's actually worsened over the last couple of years since Kyle inspected it, and I think it was pretty bad when he did.
Is it got some kind of mortgage on it, or has the I would guess that a good possibility it's some taxes that may not have been paid, and whether the tax office has got a foreclosure proceeding on it.
From memory, I'd have to check on the foreclosure part of that, but it was delinquent in taxes at one point. In terms of mortgage, I don't think so. I think the current owner inherited it from his mother.
What is the 2025 tax value?
The dwelling value, my folder's back there, I'm sorry, is $212,000. And I believe the house is $212,000. Total value is roughly $270,000, $260,000, something like that.
Okay. Then anybody that hadn't seen it needs to see it from the outside. I'm not going to support the motion, but you said somebody had been inside, so I figured it's got to be something on the inside. If somebody is at the back of it, is there any kind of trash or anything like that piled up?
Not too bad. I mean, you basically have a deck on the back that's kind of rotting away, and there's some stuff under that. The things that made it, from the housing administrator's point of view, unfit for human habitation are on the inside of the house for the most part. And again, you've got so much rubbish, I think is what the code refers to it as, essentially garbage, in there that's attracting rodents, which go into the neighbor's yard. You can't get the doors open because there's so much trash in there. You can actually see it at window height throughout the house, up and down the stairs. I think there's water leaks in the house now because about half of the drywall is wet. And so you have a dwelling that is essentially a public health type of issue, I think, which is really the basis of the housing administrator's order.
Well, if you said it, I missed it. Is there a mortgage on it? If there is, does somebody have the first mortgage on it? And if they do, what does that mean as far as the county's standing?
I could take a look at the title and see if I see a deed of trust out there. I think that the current owner inherited it from his mother. So I think that there's satisfaction out there. I'll check on that. Really, what all this order does is declare it unfit for human habitation and make it a misdemeanor for someone to occupy the house. It doesn't demolish the house, or it just essentially closes the house. And nobody's living there now anyway.
Okay, so you just,
yes, sir.
To close it then you're still going to get complaints until the growth outside is cleaned up and the bushes trimmed.
Yeah, I think a lot of the complaints are the neighbors can smell the inside of the house outside, and the rats and things that are coming around because of that are really where we're getting a lot of our complaints. Our remedies are limited with these type of issues because it's unfit for human habitation, but to your point, the value is relatively high. So it doesn't fit the criteria for a rather expedited demolition or anything like that. We essentially have to wait a year until that clock runs out to be able to effectuate a demolition, which we're not recommending at this point. Our goal is to work with the owner to do something here But this type of motion hopefully encourages some movement on their part to show that, this is not okay. It also shows the neighbors that we're aware of this and we're working on it, because I think there's some frustration, frankly, up and down the street on it.
I'll just add, we did look it up. So the 2024 taxes are delinquent. It is not in a foreclosure process. It's going through the debt set-off process.
Okay, so this is not for the, this is just to go through the process, not a call for demolition.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll put a big sign up that basically says, this is unfit, you can't live here. In the meantime, I really hope that this will get us some conversation going again. The gentleman that owns it, I think, means well and is working through some stuff, and we're going to continue to work with him with compassion to try and get this addressed while recognizing that these are legitimate minimum housing code issues.
How big is the sign?
Won't be big.
So my question is, is anyone in the home now?
No, ma'am. And again, without getting into a great amount of detail, he's essentially abandoned the home. And he said, I can't fix this. I've left.
Putting a sticker there to say you can't come back in, and if they were to come back in, are they allowed to clean it up?
I think that's a great question. We hadn't really thought of it from that standpoint that, if he comes back and says, I'll clean it up, I don't know. I mean, we could do nothing and essentially let it sit there, for the next year. I think the idea of the placard was to use our limited remedies to show that we're number one to the neighbors, that we have recognized the seriousness of this.
I'll just add, and the county attorney can correct me if I'm.
Y'all having at least some communication with the person?
Multiple times, yes, sir.
Well, all I go along as far as you are right now, and you got two houses on each side of it. I looked at the house pretty close. I didn't get out. I just looked at it from the street, and it just didn't look like, it looked like a field. The outside, the yard, has been growed up for probably maybe a year, and it's grass and there's weeds in it, and I didn't pay close attention to the shrubbery, but the house on the outside, it just didn't look bad. That's the reason
That's right. It isn't
unique.
unique.
Me, but my eyes don't see the same as everybody does. So, at any rate, if you're still going to keep getting complaints, even though we got this period of time after we take this action, you're still going to get complaints until something is done about getting the yard, the weeds and the high grass down.
Yes, sir.
So, and
Before you sit down,
I can tell
Kurt.
you how to do it, but
I'll just, and the county attorney can correct me, but I don't think there's an issue with someone going in to clean it. I think it is habitating there, so no one can come in and live there. They can't spend the night. They can come in to remedy the issue.
That's correct.
Okay, they can come in to clean it up. They just can't live there.
Just like in some of the issues when we get to demolition point, when has happened, then we actually place a lien on the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would the same philosophy exist for if we paid for someone to clean the shrubs and clean it out? Could that be a lien against the property?
Well, there's already a lease pendants on the property, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I look at the photograph here that you supplied, I presume, and, from a distance, it just looks like an ordinary bucolic house. But for a remedy here, you could get somebody like the Dew School in there, somebody that would either renovate it or demolish it, but it's probably going to require a change of title at some point if that doesn't happen.
Right.
I think our hope would be in continuing to work with the owner to recognize that he has some options, because he has an asset that with a little bit of help, he might be able to turn into a productive thing for him that would get it cleaned up, and it probably would involve a change title. So we'll continue to work with them in that respect. We have to be careful of kind of what our role is in the sense of enforcing the minimum housing code, but also trying to treat folks with kindness and compassion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve for the neighbor's sake.
I'll second that and have a discussion question.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Chair Wizenhut, second by Commissioner Bessie. Discussion.
I had asked Monday if you could look into whether the health department would have options to basically authorize sending somebody in, just sending them in, cleaning out the
Yes, sir.
garbage and addressing the odor and the rat question for the neighbors.
Yes, sir. And I apologize for the excuse. I've gotten tied up in some other things this week. I have not gotten to that yet. I apologize.
Please do pursue that, because it sounds to me like that's the if we can legally do that, that would be the expeditious way to address the neighbors' nuisance issues.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All righty. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 29 is an ordinance revising Chapter 7, subsection 7-125 of the Forsyth County Code relating to violations of the minimum housing code. This change would be to the minimum housing code, would allow county staff to assess civil penalties for violations of the minimum housing code.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut, second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Go ahead and vote, and then I got my question. It won't affect this. Aye.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Mr. Attorney, or Mr. Johnson, either one, on a half an acre lot out in the county, just a half an acre lot, is it violate the code to plant it in a crop like corn or maybe an apple orchard?
I'm not aware of any
I'm serious.
law.
I just want to find out whether I'm going to end up breaking the county code or not.
That's certainly not a part of this ordinance, but Fred can jump in if he wants.
I think there's robust protections for bona fide farmers that would protect farmers from county building regulations and land use regulations.
Well, I just want to make sure that I'm not violating the code or not going to, one or the other.
I would say that farmers are very well protected in the law these days.
Well, I thought the ones in down east was too, but I found out they wouldn't. That was in relation to livestock, not crops.
Okay.
Agenda item number 30 is a resolution approving the interim tax collector's annual settlement for fiscal year 25 and prior years. Deputy Tax Assessor Collector Mike Pollock briefed this item on Monday.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. I'd second that motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
We can take 31 and 30 through 34 together. These are resolutions denying or approving refunds by the tax assessor collector. 31 is a resolution denying a refund request in the amount of $7,473.07. 32 is a resolution denying a refund request in the amount of $12,275.03. 33 is a resolution approving refunds by the tax assessor collector in the amount of $3,645.69. And 34 is a resolution approving refunds in the amount of $24,449.18.
Move approval of 31, 32, 33, 34.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And we can take 35 through 37 together. They are our reports. 35 is the fuel surcharge franchise report. 36 is the May Human Resources report. And 37 is the American Rescue Plan Act disbursement status report.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Linville.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
We have two closed sessions, Mr. Chair.
All righty. If you'd read the motions for those, we're ready to go.
Okay. I need to ask the board to consider a motion to go into closed session to discuss two matters. One matter relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations pursuant to the provisions of North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A4. And one matter to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee pursuant to the provisions of North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A6. And since there's no other business to come before the board at this meeting, following the closed session, the meeting will be adjourned.
I'd make that motion. Is there a second? Second. Vice Chair Wizen, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.